Hello, hello, everybody. Happy hump day. It's Carmen here, sitting out on my porch, and it's one of my favorite places to sit. It's beautiful. Of course, my dogs come out and start drinking water and making noise the minute I sit down to go live. But today I want to talk about a sensitive topic, and it's one of these questions that comes up on the regular from my coaches. It is always a source of creating anxiety in their business and in their, how they approach their clients, how they do their whole process of coaching. And it's this feeling when they get on a call with somebody or they are meeting with someone to potentially be hired as a coach. Hi, Lizette. That there's a fear or a sense of low confidence, which usually, and I see this a lot, you guys, I've even done this with coaches where I've had them treat me like the potential client, and so I can see the blind spot, like what's going on, what is your approach? And I sense this lack of confidence in a lot of the coaches that I train. I see this lack of confidence before we even get into the free consultation. So, many times when we, the objections that we hear from people about hiring you or hiring a health coach are things like, well, it's just not in my budget at this time, or I just don't have the money for that, or I was just curious as to what health coaching is, or really wasn't about to hire anybody, just wanted to have a conversation. So what really is the truth behind why people aren't hiring you as a health coach? There's a couple of different things that can happen. Some of them that you are able to change and to reframe. Some of them are coming from the client themselves. So and that has to do with budgeting and mindset and things like that. So let's start with the number one objection, which is I don't have the money. I don't have the budget to invest in a health coach. So how do you overcome that particular objection? How do you help them to see that you can add value to their health and to their lives and helping them reach goals and optimize their health? So it's not by sitting there and going, oh, okay, well, let me take that. Let me give you a 50% discount. That's not the answer. Okay. So let's just set it up like this. We're doing a free consultation and someone says to me, well, what do you charge? Well, I don't tell people what I charge on the actual free consultation. I don't tell them what I charge over the phone. We don't talk about money. The free consultation is really in place for you to hear my dog barking, to see exactly what are their needs and what are their, I'm going to go in the other room so we don't have this going on in the background, but what are their goals for hiring a health coach? What are they trying to achieve? And when they start to have this conversation, you're going to start to hear their story. So forgive me for the motion. I want to get in away from the barking, not to say it won't follow me inside. I have 3 dogs. So we want to hear their story. And what that means is they give us some free conversation, meaning, well, when I was in my 20s, I had a child and this is what happened. Or when I was young, I was diagnosed with this and this is what happened. So my dialogue is always this. For the next 5 minutes, just tell me a little bit about what got you to this place and why you're interested in health coaching. Then we open up our ears and we start listening for the story, right? So during that story, when they're talking, most of the time, many times, they're going to get emotional. I've been to this many doctors and I've had this many people tell me this is what's going on and it hasn't fixed my problem. So you have to hear underneath that story that there is a fear that hiring yet another person to help them with a problem is just going to end in a hopeless, no answer situation again for them. So the goal of this conversation, this free consultation and this conversation here, is not for you to give advice and start giving discounts and telling them what's wrong with them. Is to let them know that you can hear them, that you hear them, that you've worked with things like this before, or these are things that you're interested in learning more about. And so the dialogue goes something like this. So you're on the conversation for 15 minutes. You hear their story, right? They start telling you things. Maybe they cry. Maybe they tell you they're just feeling hopeless. And so we already know underneath that is a fear, right? So how do we help them to overcome a fear that they don't even know that they have? We say something along the lines of this. It sounds like you've really been through a lot, or something like this. It sounds like you've got a lot going on, and I know that can be overwhelming. So I've worked with people like this before, or you don't want to lie to them. Of course, be honest here. We're transparent, be authentic. Or you say, this sounds like something that I'd really be interested in learning more about, but we're going to start with the basics, because what I want you to do is start to feel less overwhelmed and more supported. So you're quelling the fear right away by letting them know that you hear them, that you either have experience with things like this in other clients before, or that you're interested in figuring it out with them. You're there to support them and lift them up. So right away, we're knocking that fear down, right? because, you know, people get on calls with health coaches for many reasons. One thing, curiosity, right? They want to know, what is a health coach? What can you do differently for me? The second reason they get on is desperation. They've done everything else. So what else can this, you know, what could possibly be, what could harm me in getting on a call with a health coach, right? It's just a free call, right? And the third reason is there's an element of true belief in there that you really have the answer for them. So if we can take these three things and we can let them know in this free consultation that we hear them, that we're interested in helping them, that we are invested in supporting them, and that we can help them to find the answers, you're knocking out the first part of objection with a client. So the other part that I mentioned earlier on, if you're just jumping on, go back and listen to the beginning, is the objection of, I just don't have the money. Well, you know what? We do have the money. We do find the money for the things that are important to us. So how do we take that objection and turn it into something that they can see differently? So a part of the conversation might be something like this. I understand that you feel like the budget might not be there for investment in your health right now. But I want you to kind of look at your life and see where you're spending money right now and how those things are contributing to your health, or maybe even driving you further away from health. So making a list and giving them a really quick action step on how to figure out how to find that money is a really great way to show them that you're committed to helping them find the answers to their health as well. So, you know, it's never about not having the money or not having the budget. You know, many times people are in situations where they are, you know, not well off, or they've been struggling and they've spent all kinds of money in other areas. But if they're reaching out to a health coach, there's got to be that element of knowledge or belief that you can help them. And behind that is the ability to find the funding to hire that person to do so. So think about it this way. If you've been a person that's ever been chasing your own health symptoms or trying to find the answer to something, you've done gut health, you've done tests, you've done hormone tests, you've done all of these things that you spend $500 here, $400 there, $300 there. And then something crosses your radar, right, as a health coach, and maybe you're still dealing with some gut stuff, and it says, maybe it's a marketing thing or something that crosses your feed that says, the only test you'll ever need to find out what your real food intolerances are. You know that there's that niggling little feeling in the back of your mind that says, oh my gosh, it's only $197. Maybe this really is the place that's going to give me the answers to what foods are that I can't tolerate. All right, I'll just give up my manicure, or I'll drag my hair coloring out till next week or whatever. You find that $197 to buy that test to help you find out your food intolerances. So when people say they can't afford something, you've got to find a way to help them to understand that we are prioritizing the investment in their health, and that we're able to find a way to guide them to do that. Even if it's just you saying, listen, lay it out for me. Tell me how you're spending your money, and let's figure it out together, right? So it's never about those reasons. The objections, there's always something underneath the objection, whether it be fear, whether it be just not knowing how to figure it out, how to find the money, how to reframe what they're spending on or what their priorities are. The other thing is this, is if they don't really know what a health coach is all about and they're nervous about it and they have the money and they're like, you know what, I've got the money to invest, but I'm just not really sure you're the person for me. The one thing that we can do is offer that one-time session. And I teach this to coaches all the time. It's a great way to get people to dip their baby toe into the water of health coaching. So here's one way you can respond to that objection, is you can say, you know what, here's what I think would be a great idea for you. And I've had people do this for me. Why don't we do one session and let's just go through the intake. Let's take a look at what's going on. Let's have a one-time session, 90 minutes, right? You charge them accordingly. And then after we get through that, you'll have a better idea of who I am and how I can help you. And then we'll take that and that investment and we'll apply it to a longer contract if you see that that's something you'd like to do. So there are many ways to get around objections with people, but we need to stop seeing the objection as what it is. It's never about the money. There's always something underneath it. Like I said earlier, it could be the fear, that this is the last stop, or the fear that no one else can help them. So having that free consultation where you simply listen, you hear, you acknowledge, you let them know with confidence that you're there to support them, lift them up, and help them, and that this is something that you are truly able to do for them. It's all about the delivery and how you appeal to them at the very beginning. That free consultation is everything. And I do not agree with meeting people in coffee shops and going over a health history. I think that's a very, very bad idea. It increases your risk. It also, as I've mentioned before in many of my trainings, lets people, opens the door for you giving them lots of free information, which turns them into a brain picker, which turns them away from being a potential client. So I suggest you always do your free consultations on the phone. Always make sure that you confirm those consultations before they happen. Maybe in the email where you're confirming that consultation, you say, please bring your #1 health challenge to the call. But when you get on the call with them, say, this is all about you. Let's jump right into hearing what it is you came to health coaching for. What are your biggest questions about it? But first, tell me a little bit about you. Because when we open that door, you guys, to asking people to share their story, it tells them already that you're in a place of reception. You're there to hear what they say, and you're not there to pitch something at them and throw your services at them, okay? It's confidently saying that I'm here to hear you, I'm holding space for you, and then letting them tell their story. Knock out the idea that there's no one that can help them. Help answer those underlying fears. Be present in that conversation. Make sure they know that you're there, they've been heard, and that you're going to share things that are going to help them overcome these fears, and that you're going to get them to the next step. It's all about how you talk. It's all about the delivery. It's not about giving them answers on that free consultation, you guys. You're not going to turn them into a client if you keep giving answers during that call. But the most important part about that call is that you have the confidence, and you portray that confidence in being able to help them, whether you know everything there is to know about all the topics you think you should, whether or not you're dealing with your own health crisis. It doesn't matter. Holding space, actively listening, and then giving them that reassurance that you're there for them, you hear them, and that you can help them. It's all about your delivery and how you approach people. Then you follow up with fees and services at the end in an email. Don't give away those fees and services on that free consultation. Have the conversation so they get to know you a little bit. Then have the response so they get to like you a little bit. Then sending out that information, you're going to get that know, like, and trust factor to grow just by being that person that holds space. Does this make sense? You guys hearing me on this? This is the training that I share with my clients, my coaches and my mentorship group and my students. That it's not, you guys, don't make this first consultation hard. Don't make it about, if they say, well, I just don't have the money and I don't know what you can do for me. It's not about you. It's not about what you're doing and how you're presenting yourself and the knowledge you have as a coach. Don't use your own health, things going on or your knowledge as an excuse to not be able to provide what they need. It's not about that. This is about the person that's coming to you. So make that call about them, and they're going to see that it's all about them, okay? Thank you for the feedback, you guys. I appreciate it. And just always remember this, that we take our own stuff, our own stories, all of those things. Hi, Debbie. Yes, you're welcome for the reminders. That we take our own stuff and we put it on a shelf and we put it to the side. Because when we get on a call with somebody that's looking to hire you, looking for some answers, that's probably feeling hopeless or just doesn't even know where to go, it is all about the client. Make it about them. Always make it about them. You can share your story and your journey and a little bit of your experiences once you guys develop that relationship so they can connect with you even more. But again, hold back on those things, hold back on your advice, keep yourself safe, lower the risk, and just have that conversation. All right, so visit us at the instituteforfunctionalhealthcoaching.com. Learn more about what we do. Always let me know if you need any support in any of the topics in relation to health coaching. This is the passion that I have to share this information with you guys. And as the weeks come, I'm going to be bringing you a lot more information about grit, about resilience, about knocking down objections again, about actually quelling your own fears in the coaching space. So many topics coming your way, and I look forward to seeing you guys. Come in anytime I go live. I'm here to answer your questions as well. It doesn't even have to be about the topic we're discussing right now, okay? All right, thanks again. Have a great Wednesday.